The first clue is the litter box. You are on your knees, cleaning sand from a plastic tray while a small predator watches from the doorway with the emotional warmth of a medieval landlord. Then you open an expensive can of food, scoop it carefully into a bowl, and place it on the floor like an offering. Your cat walks over, smells it once, and leaves. No apology. No gratitude. Just a tail disappearing around the corner. And somehow, you still think you are the owner. That may be the greatest illusion in the history of domestication. Humans love telling the story of conquest. We took wolves and made dogs. We took wild horses and rode them across continents. We shaped cattle, sheep, goats, and chickens into the machinery of civilization. So naturally, we tell ourselves we also domesticated cats. But look at the animal on your windowsill. Its eyes are fixed on a bird outside. Its body is still. Its pupils narrow. For 1 second, the sofa disappears, the apartment disappears, the ceramic food bowl disappears, and what remains is something ancient, sharp, and completely unimpressed by your authority. The truth is not that cats were never domesticated at all. The truth is stranger. Cats domesticated themselves just enough to live with us, and no further. Unlike dogs, cats were not pulled deeply into human life through obedience, labor, or teamwork. Early humans did not need a cat to help them hunt mammoths, guard camps, pull sleds, or follow commands. Cats arrived because we accidentally built the perfect restaurant. Around 10,000 years ago, in the Fertile Crescent, humans began farming. Farming created grain storage. Grain storage attracted rodents. And rodents attracted a small wild hunter, Felis silvestris lybica, the African wildcat, ancestor of the modern domestic cat. No ancient farmer looked at that animal and said, "I will create a pet." The deal was simpler. Humans had grain. Grain brought mice. Mice brought cats. The cats that tolerated humans got easy hunting. The humans that tolerated cats lost fewer stores of food. Nobody needed to sign a contract. Nobody needed to train anyone. It was not domination. It was a quiet business arrangement. Science calls this a commensal pathway to domestication. One species moves into the ecological space created by another. Cats did not have to become servants. They only had to become slightly less terrified of us. That is the key. Slightly. In the ancient village of Quanhukun in China, researchers found evidence of a relationship among people, grain, rodents, and small cats thousands of years ago. Chemical clues suggested rodents were eating stored millet, and cats were eating animals connected to that human food system. Some cats may even have eaten human scraps. But this case also shows how complicated feline history is. Later, genetic work suggests that some ancient cat relationships in China may have involved leopard cats, not the same domestic cats that later spread widely across Eurasia. Which makes the story even more interesting. Humans did not create cats once in a clean, heroic act. We repeatedly created environments where wildcats found us useful. That is not the same as mastery. It is more like being tolerated by an armed roommate. The cat genome also tells a humbling story. Compared with many domestic animals, cats show fewer signs of intense artificial selection. Their bodies did not change as dramatically as dogs. Their hunting instincts remain sharp. Their independence remains intact. A house cat can sleep on your bed at noon and kill a bird with terrifying efficiency by evening. This is why cats feel half domestic, half wild. Because in many ways, they are. They entered our homes without fully surrendering the forest inside them. Even their appearance shows how late human control arrived. The familiar blotched tabby pattern became common relatively late in history, and deliberate breeding for fancy cat appearances became widespread only in recent centuries. For most of the human-cat relationship, we were not sculpting them into specialized workers. We were letting them ride along. And cats became very good at riding along. They reached Cyprus thousands of years ago, likely carried by humans because cats do not naturally swim to islands with luggage. Later, they traveled with merchants, farmers, sailors, and empires. On ships, cats hunted rats. In ports, they slipped into warehouses. In cities, they found alleys, temples, kitchens, markets, and laps. Not because they were conquered, because we were useful. That is the comedy and the genius of the cat. Dogs change themselves to cooperate with us. Cats change themselves just enough to exploit the world we built. And then they made us call it affection. This is where wild qualia becomes almost impossible to enter. What does a human look like from inside a cat's mind? Not as an owner, not as a master, but as a large, warm, noisy primate that opens doors, produces heat, kills fleas, fills bowls, and reacts emotionally when ignored. Maybe a cat loves you. Maybe it trusts you. Maybe it has attached itself to your routines, your scent, your voice, your bed, your hands. But it probably does not experience you as a ruler. More likely, you are part of its territory. A dangerous ape turned useful. A social object. A food source. A heated surface. A creature worth keeping nearby, as long as you remember the boundaries. That may sound insulting. It may also be the most honest kind of respect. Because cats do not pretend to be something else for us. They did not give up their hunting mind. They did not become obedient shadows. They did not dissolve into human need. They stayed cats. And somehow, that was enough to conquer us. So the next time you clean the litter box while your cat watches from across the room, remember the truth. You are not reenacting the triumph of human civilization. You are participating in an ancient arrangement that began when grain attracted mice, mice attracted wildcats, and wildcats realized humans could be useful if properly managed. We did not drag cats out of the wild. We built a world full of food, warmth, shelter, and rodents. Then they walked in. And 10,000 years later, they are still deciding whether your offering is acceptable. That is not failure of domestication. That is feline strategy. A small predator looked at the greatest empire-building species on Earth and made a simple calculation. I can live with that, but I will not belong to it.